Oi, mate. Wake up. Oi, fucking wake up. It's your Picquet.
Welcome to the sports edition of On Picquet. I'm your host, Gresh, and I'm here with my co-host, Steve.
Hey guys, Steve here. I'm really looking forward to speaking about Credence today.
Yeah, absolutely. What an outstanding young fighter. I'm really excited to talk about what he's capable of. Yeah, I think Credence is just a breath of fresh air to the Australian heavyweight division, to be honest. How
Sure.
about you?
It's just seeing him, his power, his action behind it is incredible.
Agreed. Welcome to On Picquet, a podcast where we delve into important topics such as mental health, self-care, and shared experiences. My name's Gresh, and I'm honoured to be your host. Because of my personal journey, I understand the challenges and struggles that come from leaving the military. In 2013, I transitioned out of the Defence Force and began my journey of supporting others by founding Tasmania's first Veterans Assistance Dog program before becoming a peer support ambassador. On this podcast, we will share stories of service and discuss the importance of mateship, while providing tips and strategies to help with the transition from military to civilian life. Thank you for joining us on Picquet.
So, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, Credence couldn't be here today. However, we're going to talk about him and the matches specifically, more specifically, his most recent one, guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Credence is feeling a bit under the weather, like you mentioned, and he couldn't be here with us today. But we're still really excited to talk about his fighting style.
Absolutely.
And the controversy surrounding that most recent title fight on XFC New Zealand, hey?
Wow, that is so true. It's mind-blowing. It's real. It's something that we definitely need to talk about.
Correct. It's not something we see every day. However, let's explore a little bit more of that after we've gone through Credence's record and had a chat. Hey, crew. Thanks for joining me for this Picquet. I'd like to introduce our next guest. We're about to have Credence Stanshaw Anderson. He's a rising prospect in the Australian MMA scene, and in fact, he just fought for a title in New Zealand quite recently. I'm super excited to have him on the show to talk about his strategies and how he deals with his mental health. This is going to be a really, really exciting episode. So make sure you stay tuned. And once again, thanks for joining me on Picquet.
So honestly, man, in your personal opinion, what do you think about Credence's performance in his career so far, truly?
Great question. Look, I really don't think that his professional record is a representation of his true skills, to be honest.
Okay.
I feel like that he was an outstanding amateur.
Sure.
Outstanding. And I feel like he's still slightly finding his feet in the professional arena. However, saying that, this is the heavyweight division, man. A losing record isn't that uncommon for the big boys.
Yeah, man, I really agree with that. Even though he's had more losses than he has had wins, which is unfair. However, it is what it is, and I strongly believe that the power of the performance in the cage really stands to the testament of who he is as a person and a fighter.
Absolutely. Look, the power this young athlete possesses is straight up scary. I don't think I've seen a single fight where he hasn't had his opponent hurt and seriously worried.
Man, sweet. Let's talk about the first fight. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So his first fight was against Frederick Terapita.
Yep.
A tough opponent to start your professional career against, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, losing in round one at 4, what is it? 36.
36.
Yeah, under 30. Come on, KO, elbow punches, like that is something absolutely incredible. Like that's huge.
Yeah, look, and you see that with his heavyweight boys, hey? But quite often what you see is that these guys don't even go for like 60 seconds most of the time.
At all.
So to see in his first fight, to have
Yep.
two big boys swinging for nearly 5 minutes, wow, that's impressive.
It's absolutely incredible. I totally agree. I mean, look at his losses. You know, the next loss was around a minute. TKO punches. Come on, there's something to marvel at again. Really.
Correct. And look, we're starting to see a pattern here. For this fight, Credence had picked up some experience.
Sure.
His last fight was only 1 round. This
Yeah.
time he went 2. It was a bit longer.
Yeah.
And look, to be honest, that fight wasn't without controversies.
I love that when you see Credence fighting, he had that, he had David on the ropes and he had so many opportunities to just keep on going.
Yeah, totally. And it seems like he got so much more confident in that second fight.
Sure.
And that showed through his performance and his composure in that match with David.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see him when he beat down the promotions 2 in under 3 minutes and 46 seconds. TKO punches.
Yeah, look, that fight was spectacular, hey? I actually had the privilege of being cage side for that fight, and it was amazing. It really seemed like Credence came out a little bit slow and worried, and after he got a couple of shots, they woke him up, and the result was devastating.
Wow. How do you personally feel that he went after the fight, this match? Like you personally, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, yeah, look, great question. Look, after that match, his next fight, I feel like what we saw is a really common phenomenon for fighters, hey? He came off that beautiful win. He had a load of confidence, being on cloud 9,
Sure.
feeling confident, feeling strong, feeling
Sure.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
And maybe because of that, he didn't quite give his opponent enough respect.
Right.
And what we saw was a really quick loss.
Yeah. Okay. So we can definitely see how that translates in his next loss to Harry Gresh, who finished him in round 1 in under 1 minute. That's massive. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, look, I was actually at that fight also. And
Right,
look,
wow.
to be honest,
Yeah.
everybody in the whole arena knew what Harry was coming to do.
Okay.
He wanted to do what he always does, and he wanted to grab onto Credence's arm and take it home as a trophy.
As a trophy, yeah.
Unfortunately, look, even though Credence seemed to be well aware of that game plan, there wasn't much he could do to stop it from taking place.
Yeah, right. That takes us to Credence's next fight. He returned to Beatdown to face Kevin Valumi, another very tough heavyweight competitor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, correct. And another great fight. It went deep in the second round, and I think this time you could see that Credence definitely had much more respect and a
Sure.
much better game plan.
Sure.
And both of these guys had their opportunities during that fight. Look, unfortunately for Credence, he just got with a big shot. And this fight ended the way that most heavyweight fights go. And this time it was a spectacular knockout that he was on the receiving end of.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes these guys so incredible to watch. Check out the powerful shots in Credence's in the next, watching the next video. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, look, and when that comes up, we'll be able to see Credence's power.
Yeah, totally.
But let's just talk about the athleticism of this young fella.
Like,
110 kilos.
wow. That's a big boy.
That's a big boy. Eh?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've had the pleasure of talking to Credence before.
Oh, wow.
He explained to me that his heritage is Viking
Are you
and
serious?
Maori.
And Maori.
Right?
Wow,
So he's
sure,
a
sure.
Viking Maori warrior.
Wow.
That's some scary genetics.
Yeah,
right there, hey?
yeah, absolutely. Especially being, with him in person, seeing even just visually, not even his personality yet. Do you know what I mean? Just seeing him.
Just seeing him walk, hey? And that can be so deceptive, hey? Like
Yeah.
you see Credence come out and put this beautiful game face on.
Yep.
Looks scary as when he walks down to the cage.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, yeah, exactly.
God. Right, look at this.
That's just so crazy.
But when you meet the guy in
Right.
person, it's such a shame that he's not feeling well, because I'd love for everyone to be able to
Yeah,
see
that was
intoxicating personality that he has. Hey?
Right, really?
Like the smile that lights up the room.
Wow.
And outside of the cage,
wow.
once again, what we see with these fighters is they're actually really nice guys.
They're
hey?
just genuine. They're human
just
beings.
genuinely people.
Yeah. This isn't, they don't take this stuff home to their families and stuff. This is, it's business for them.
Yeah, correct. And look, I feel that he's a family man,
Sure.
he's a dad, he's a great husband, an upstanding guy in the community.
Yep.
Until
Absolutely.
that cage door shuts.
Until
hey?
that cage door shuts.
Whew.
Come on. But the thing is if it didn't translate to the screen, who does he become?
Oh yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's such a beautiful point. And
Right.
we often forget that this is a show, and that's a show.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
this is show business.
Totally.
And while Credence absolutely is a fighter, he's also
Yeah.
an employee of that show, and he's
Right.
there to put on the best performance that he can.
Totally.
To sell tickets. hey?
Exactly. Right. It's all about the numbers in those seats.
Yeah.
And he has to bring it, but I mean physically you can see from the pictures he knows his stature, he knows his structure, he knows what he looks like. Do you know what I mean? He fills the ring. 2 guys in a ring, that ring looks tiny with those guys in there.
Correct. And I feel like he's just able to play his character so
Right.
well, hey?
Exactly.
Like I said, we've got this beautiful family guy,
Yeah.
and then we step into the cage, and we've got a straight up Viking Maori killer.
Absolutely. Like even watching him strike punches, you can see in the intensity in his face. The role is undertaken from his mentality. He knows what he's doing. He's not in there to play games.
Yeah. And so, like I mentioned in that first fight
Yep.
that I saw, I don't know what was going on for Credence in his head that night. As a commentator, we don't get the insight to that.
Sure.
But in his eyes,
Yeah.
you could just see that wasn't quite there.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And then one landed right on his nose.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, man, his eyes changed.
Yeah,
and
right.
I was scared. The cage side.
Wow.
I was like, ooh,
wow.
who's this guy?
Viking time.
Right?
Yeah.
And
right.
maybe that berserker heritage came through.
Absolutely.
And he ended that dude.
Wow.
I would not want to be in
Oh,
there
man.
with an angry
Oh.
Credence Anderson, I'll tell you what.
Especially knowing that you're the one who struck the blow. Right?
You're the guy
Right?
that upset him, eh?
Exactly.
He's like, we were friends a second ago. Boom, boom. See you later.
Yeah. See you later. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, hey, look, let's talk about this this fight that Credence had. I watched the video.
Okay.
It really looked to me like there was a lot of shots getting back into the back of the head.
Yeah.
Repetitive,
Sure.
illegal shots. And like, let's remember, we're talking that we've got a mohawk down the middle,
Uh-huh.
and anyone who hits someone to the head
Yep.
needs to make sure they clip an ear. So even if it's the
Sure.
outside knuckle, it's trying to get that ear. And look, we watched that video together. Did you
Yeah,
think that's what you saw?
Yeah. Look. I mean, a fight is a fight. They're in the ring for a very specific reason. They both know what they're doing in there. One guy on top of another guy. I mean, smashing heads together. I mean, don't you honestly think that it should have been the situation where Credence should have got on top of him? If he was on top of him, wouldn't he have taken the blows himself? Or am I wrong? Like, honestly, what do you think about that?
Oh, look, come on, Steve, mate. I love a brawl just as much as the next guy, but look, I think that's just ridiculous. The rules are there for the safety of both guys and getting punched in the back of the head. It's just not on, hey?
Okay.
Look, both of these guys knew what they were signing up to, like you said.
Yeah.
They both agreed to fight by the same set of rules. And look, I'm a fighter. I
Okay.
know that aggression can make us throw wildly at times.
Yeah.
But I also feel that as professionals, we have a responsibility to be able to control ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying exactly. What you're saying, but I mean, really, at the end of the day, rules are rules, and we have to abide by them. It's a pretty intense situation. However, coming from outside perspective, and knowing the situation that the guys are both in, it's kind of really unfair, for illegal shots. I mean, it really, where we're seeing it from, a judgmental point of view of, to the basis of from the fans' perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, look, absolutely, I'm a fan. And I agree that it's quite easy to take that biased view at times.
Yeah.
But like as I mentioned, I've been a fighter myself. I've been a referee myself. And the last thing I want to see is anyone get injured in the cage, hey?
Sure.
And as a fighter, I hate seeing fights won unfairly.
Sure.
Look, we didn't just let Lance Armstrong continue racing once we realized he was doping, right?
Sure, yeah.
We stripped him of his medals and we
Yeah.
sent him packing.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that if you can't fight within the rule set that's provided to you, maybe you should change sports.
Sure. Wow, man. I mean, why don't they tell us how you really feel? It looks like we're just so passionate about fighting, looks for a win. Even if he's picked his shots a bit better, the results wouldn't have been the same. What's your opinion?
Yeah, look, I actually think the results would have been the same. I
Okay.
feel like if he had thrown much cleaner punches
Sure.
and they had caught the ear,
Okay.
then that would be a fair win.
Okay.
And that would be the correct result.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, look, we're just sports reporters and fans.
Yeah, right.
So we don't get to make that call.
Yeah, no.
And
that's
I
true.
guess the question is, what should happen next, mate?
At the end of the day, it's we're seeing this. We're seeing it from our perspective. We know how intense it was. We know how real it was.
Correct. And like,
You know
we're
what I
not
mean?
judges, hey?
Yeah, we're not
just fans.
judges. Exactly. We're just
Look,
here
mate,
to
look.
spectate.
You're correct. And that's all we've got time to talk about today, unfortunately. So look, just before we go, I'd really like to thank our friends over at The Mill here in Brisbane.
Cool.
Our friends at Get Some AU for this amazing Jocko fuel they've supplied us. Make sure you get on that.
Love it.
And I'd really like to thank our friends over at Lockdown, Brisbane's premier cage grappling competition. Look, guys, if you're an aspiring fighter, you're looking for a way to get cage experience in that time that's important, make sure you get down to Lockdown. There's no better way to get that cage experience, hey? Also, massive hey everyone, thanks for joining us on Picquet. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Credence as much as I enjoyed having him on. I'd like to thank him for sharing his insightful views. Make sure to go support him when he's next fighting in your area. If you did enjoy this episode, I'd love for you to leave a comment, a like, and a share on one of our social media channels. Please tell your friends about us, and be sure to join us for our next Picquet.